Good morning, everybody. If you are hopping on, just drop below where you're coming in from. I'm from Pennsylvania, so I am near Pittsburgh, PA. So if you're hopping on, just in the comments, go ahead and comment where you're coming in from, what state you're in. I like to see who and where we are actually reaching. I am going to give it a minute. I know there's always a delay, and I kind of forget that. Okay, from Texas. Okay, I'm starting to see. Good morning, Sheila. All right. So I'm just going to give it about 30 seconds. See if we can get a couple more viewers on here. So if you're jumping on, if you're hopping on, comment below where you are actually viewing from, what state you're in. And I'm going to give it about 30 seconds. I'll be right back. So we got Texas and Tennessee, Oklahoma. Okay, great, Maine. Okay, so I see everybody starting to hop on, which, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. A lot of people, you know, they're at work this time of day. Good morning. I know it's Wednesday here. I am so off on my days with the holiday being Monday that all day long and all day yesterday, I could not keep my days straight. So I'm not sure if any of you are like that, but when we have a holiday weekend or a week or something, it messes my whole week up, and I'm usually off a day or two. So it's Wednesday here, so we're trying out Wednesdays. I used to come to you live on Tuesdays, so I am trying out Wednesdays and seeing how that goes. I'm still doing the 10:30 slot just because it's a good time for me. I have 5 children of my own. Now they are grown, but they all live really close to home here, and I have 7 grandchildren. So the grandbabies and the children, they're always stopping by, and 10:30 seems like to be a good time for me. Not that I couldn't change it in the future if it's not working for everybody. Might throw a couple different times in there in the future, but right now this seems to be working, and the lighting's the best for me. I don't have the greatest lighting, which I need to work on in my work area, so I'm actually just currently doing it in my dining room. We don't use the dining room very rarely except for family occasions, and so I make it work for the family occasions, and I just kind of work out of my dining room. It's the space that I have available to me at the time. So okay, so we have a couple viewers on here, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I am going to address a few things first before we even go ahead and start. First off, for the contest that I'm doing, we're doing mugs today, and as most of you know, I have a mug press giveaway. So I was really excited about that, and just glad to offer you guys something. And I had a stipulation in there where you had to go ahead and you could enter every day, 1 entry per day for the 30 days, September 1st to September 30th. And with a $10 purchase or more, and that your name would go into the drawing. However, I had someone, you know, you always get the haters, as I call them, trolling my group page, and he messaged me and told me that it was illegal for me to go ahead and do such a thing, and really just gave me a hard time. So, okay, so I thought, well, that's over with. Okay, whatever. But he turned me into Facebook, and he turned me into Etsy. So my rules had to change slightly. Now I have to allow everybody that makes a purchase, regardless of the amount that you spend, your name will get entered into the drawing. So that's why on my rules, you will see that the rules have changed. It's no longer a $10 purchase. It's any purchase you make, and you can get one entry per day. So if you made a purchase today for, I do have my designs on sale, but I'll do that in a minute. If you make a purchase today, you get your name added for today. If you make a purchase tomorrow, regardless of the amount, you'll get your name added tomorrow. So you have 30 days to go ahead, get your name in into the drawing. So that's how that's going to work. There's not going to be a minimum anymore. So everybody that makes a purchase, every day you make a purchase, one entry per day, you can go ahead and get your name entered. So with that being said, I do have my designs. You know that I like to usually run a sale when I'm kind of doing a tutorial, or I'll just throw up some flash sales. So today I have 40% off all of my designs. That way, if you want to go ahead and make some mugs, you can go ahead and put some of the designs on your mugs if you want to go ahead and do a mug. So I'm still having the giveaway. Why would that be illegal? You can't require somebody. I don't know if it's different for states, but then I looked it up because they had sent me, Facebook and Etsy had sent me something about sweepstakes. You cannot make somebody purchase something in order to be into a drawing. So therefore, that's illegal. Yes. Well, you know, you'll always have the haters. And that's with everything. I get probably 1 to 2 hate mails per week. It's somebody complaining about something. It's somebody, don't like the way I've done this. It don't, you know, I shouldn't be doing that. That could be infringement, which I really am careful with trademarks and infringements. So you'll just get those kind of people. That's the world we live in. Welcome to Facebook. Welcome to the internet. So with those kind of people, I just kind of boot them out of my group and block them from it so that they can't even see anything that's going on. You know, I didn't create this group for it to be chaos. There's enough chaos. There's enough hatred in this world that I didn't create it for this. I created it to be fun and informative and just really to interact with all you guys. I love sublimation, and I want to pass that on to you guys. So, and give you some tips in that I've learned along the way. I'm not an expert, never claimed to be, and I'm just here enjoying life and enjoying sublimation. So, with that, we are going to go ahead and get started. So yesterday you seen, I don't even know where my mug is. Okay, here's my mug. So these are the mugs, and I'm going to leave a link above that we're going to go ahead and sublimate, okay? And these are called, I call them magic mugs. I think they're called something different. I should have probably looked that up. But I'll leave the link where I get these. Everybody knows that I order a lot from Condi. So this is where I got this one. But I will leave a link. I'll try to actually leave the product number to where you can get these. So this is an 11-ounce mug. And that's the only size that I have found these mugs in. The magic mugs. I've seen them on a couple different sites. They're all about the same cost. I want to say another place is, I think it's JDS that has it. Now JDS is exclusive to business owners, and you have to have a business license and a tax ID to order from them. But they're pretty much the same cost anywhere that I've really checked. So this is how the mug starts out. It's just a plain black mug, white interior, okay? And let me see if I can heat this up for you. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so I just put that into the Keurig so you can go ahead and see the mugs changing. So what I really like about the mugs is on these ones, I tend to do a lot of photos. I think these are great for photo mugs. They make great birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, because a lot of people don't even realize that they are a magic mug, and they're going to change the colors. Oh, I think my mug's changing. Okay, so you can't let it set too long because it's already under the Keurig. It's already starting to do its magic. As you see, it's just heating up as it goes. As the mug heats up, the black goes away and it starts to change. So you'll get rid of that. And that's pretty much where I only did the coffee too. But this will heat up enough and eventually this will go away as well. But my line of water right now is right here. So, but this will eventually go away once the whole mug heats up from the hot water. And this is actually a picture of my daughter, my oldest daughter and her family, my grandchildren. So I love these for doing photos. Okay, so these are super easy. I've done a mug tutorial before. This is the same exact way. Very easy to do. I just you can use mug paper. I tend to use, usually I do two. I just use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of sublimation paper. And the paper that I use is the A-Sub. That's the best paper that I feel that's worked really good and gave me vibrant colors in my Epson. And I'm working with an Epson Workforce 7720, and I do have a 7710 on the way. The difference between the two is the 20 has the extra tray, which I tend to not use hardly because the second tray doesn't have the where you can change the different settings like the first tray does. So I just usually do a lot of switching out. But this is what I do. I just take a bunch of photos. My template is size, let me look here, guys. Okay, so the template size that I use for this is I use an 8.5 by 4. And the reason that I do that is I like to get a full bleed on my mug, meaning my whole mug will pretty much be covered. This one was a little bit shy of it. I kind of needed to move that up a little, but I like to get a full bleed or covering my whole mug from top to bottom. And then all I do is take a bunch of photos. I frame each photo out as if it was like a photo in a kind of a small little frame. And then I just start scattering it around until I like how it looks. Okay. The best place to purchase A-Sub. I actually purchased mine. I'm going to have to look. I have so many purchase places that it's crazy. The UPS man. Yesterday I had the UPS, FedEx here twice. Post office here once, and then I had another delivery. I'm telling you, I have to give these guys probably Christmas cards and Christmas gifts because they're at my house so often. I think they're family. So all I do is take a bunch, I resize them, do some small ones, do some big ones. This is all I do for photos. So then I take it and then I crop it down as small as possible. I take the complete white line off the top, white line off the bottom. I don't mind so much a little bit white on the ends, but that way I know exactly where I'm going to put this at. Amazon Prime is where I get mine. It might be Amazon. That probably sounds right. I think I do order my papers from Amazon. I will have to check though. Okay, so I'm going to wipe this off. I wipe my mugs off with I use alcohol, rubbing alcohol, to wipe my mugs off with. That's just a habit that I got into. I like them to be really clean. They don't need a lot. I just don't like lint or anything. I've had them where the lint was on them. So I kind of just wipe my mug down with a little bit of alcohol. It dries quickly. Just make sure it's dry. And that just kind of helps get any lint off, any dust. I tend to, when I store my mugs downstairs, even though in my basement, and they're covered, but they tend to get a little dusty. So let me get a paper towel. Sorry, I keep going off camera. I try to always be prepared, but I'm never prepared. Something's always going to make me run late. So then I'm just going to dry it off real good. Okay? But just making sure there's nothing. Yeah, you have to buy, yes. A lot of things from Amazon, you're correct. Not all sellers are good. You're correct. I don't buy any of my supplies except for, like I've bought the A-sub paper and things like that. I think a heat tape dispenser I've bought on there. Things like that I'll buy in there. I do not trust my supplies to it. And then I just eyeball it up. But having the edge here and having the edge at the top really helps with that. And my biggest thing about it is make sure that you're even with your handles. And then I just heat tape. I'm going to give you a little trick with this heat tape. One side I just tape down like this, just like a regular. And then the other side, I fold over a portion of the top. So when I go to pull this off, it gives me something to pull from instead of trying to pick off that tape from, see, I have a little pull. So I fold over the top portion so that I have something to pull off of. And then this, see, I wasn't ready. My heat press ain't even on. It's not even hot. Okay, so this heat press is from my favorite place. This is from Heat Press Nation. We're gonna do it at 400 degrees, 190 seconds. It doesn't take long for this to heat up. But, so I am actually, and that's where the mug press that I am giving away, that's where I'm giving the heat press from. So it's going to be the heat press from Heat Press Nation, and it's for the 11-ounce mug. So this mug would be absolutely perfect for that heat press. The heat press that I'm using here actually has 4 different settings. Like I can do a latte mug, a shot glass, an 11-ounce, and a 15-ounce. I haven't changed this out. This is a 15-ounce center to it, that press part. Like, because this right here, this unit right here changes out. I don't know what they call it. So I haven't taken that out. I'm using that. I just tightened it up a little bit tighter so that it gets it. Can these be done in a convection oven? I'm pretty sure they can. I've never used one, so I'm not familiar with doing it in there, but I wouldn't see why not, as long as you have the wraps or the heat tape I see people using with this. So I don't see why it can't be, because it's basically the same concept as a regular mug. So if you've ever done mugs before in the oven, in your convection oven, then I don't see why you couldn't do that with these. Newfoundland. Good morning. Okay, so we're heating up the heat press because I was not prepared, even though I thought I was. Yes, the control, I think there is a little bit more control, but like I said though, I've never done the oven with them. I've never used wraps, so I have no clue on how to do that at all. Okay, the mug press, we got a little bit more to go. Like I said, 400 degrees, 190 seconds. Am I forgetting something? Oh, someone had asked me about the white spaces on rugs. So let me show you that while I am. This is, can we see that? Sorry, there we go. That's how a white space, someone had just asked about that in my group, about how the white spaces of the Santas and stuff turn out on the rugs. So there you have it. It really, white space is just a negative space, so it's not a space. It will become the coloring behind whatever's showing through. But as you see, you can't really tell the difference. That kind of looks white. Okay, so whoever had asked about how the white turns out from the Santas on the mug, that's how they turned out. Where I purchased the mugs from, yes, it's from Condi. I will leave a link. I always do. I tend to go back after I post where I get my supplies from. So that's where I got these from. Like I say, these are probably running, I think these are like a little over $3 a mug, which is a little bit more expensive than what we usually pay for a mug, but it is the magic mug, so you're paying for that. Almost there, guys. Okay, so we printed out the image, and always make sure that when you do the image, it is mirrored. Most items that you're going to do, there's very few items that you don't mirror. I know cutting boards is one of them that you don't mirror because they're coming up from the back, but most every item you do, it's always mirrored. Okay, so we're ready. Okay, so this is going to go in for 190 seconds. And this is about a firm, medium firm. That is always my scariest part. I've cracked so many handles. Doing this, not getting it correct and pushing it back against it and putting pressure on it. So if you use a mug press, just be careful for that, especially like these kind where you pull them back. It's not an automatic one where it puts in. Make sure your handle is centered to where you need to, because if you pull back, once you put the pressure on, it starts squeezing it, and you can crack that handle off because it'll come up against the top here. So does anybody, what size is the mug? The mug is, this is an 11-ounce one. I've not seen these magic mugs in any bigger size yet. I wish they would come out with a 15-ounce. In all of the places that I shop at, I've not seen one. The back one. Okay, so when this is going in, it's going in dark of the black, but as it's heating up in here, it's actually turning white. So it's going to adhere to the coffee mug, and then once it cools off, it will go back to the black. Could you explain real quick how the Santa would look if your printer does not print white? It really just looks like, you'll get the outline of it. So even though the Santa and the pictures look exactly like the photo that you see on here. So it still looks, it looks exactly the same. It's just the negative space because no white prints, even though, but the white will be white. You'll have the outline of the beard because the edges of Santa's beard has a gray shadowing. Okay, I know it's a little hard to see once it's pressed, but that's what gives it that. Okay. So if you can see that, the edges are like a kind of like grayed a little bit. So that's where you see the definition. Did you cover it so the ink doesn't get on the press? No. I've not had any issues with it getting on my press, and I've done hundreds in here. I know a lot of people like to put some butcher paper in there. I don't use a blowout paper. I probably should. But I've not had any issues with it ever transferring to the press itself. So that's something that I've not had any problems with, and I do lots of mugs. And I've not had any blowouts where it transferred or ghosted onto one of my mugs. So no, I do not cover it with any kind of paper. You can if you want to. I've not had any issues. counting down now. Do you hand wash these? I probably would recommend that, but I'm horrible for that, and I hate doing dishes, so mine goes into the dishwasher, and I dishwash all of my mugs, and I've had a little bit, but top rack, it's not something I'm concerned with, but probably if you're going to sell these, I probably put a little note in there just saying to hand wash just to cover yourself. Okay, so these mugs are super hot. Grab the handle. And then, like I said, I already had them. I gave myself a little tab. And we're going to pull that off. This is actually my daughter did a photo shoot for my other daughter. My one daughter's a photographer. She did a photo shoot this weekend. And this was her photos. This was one of the kids in the family. So there you go. But as you see, the mug is showing all of the color right now, and you see how it's from the top to the bottom. So, and then, like I said, make sure you're centered in your handle. And then there. And let me show you, I don't know if you can see this. Okay, right here. Don't be nervous. I threw away probably in my very beginning about 10 to 15 mugs because I would have these and I was thinking it wasn't showing up. See how I got this white across the top? Don't worry about that. That is 9 times out of 10. It is usually residue, paper residue. So all I do once these mugs cool down a little bit, I just take and run them under clear water and then get that residue off. See, it was just residue. Gone. So, and in the beginning, I wasn't wiping off my mugs, and I thought I was ruining them because I would have like paper residue. I was just tossing them and tossing them, thinking I can't. That's how I started. I started with mugs when I started Sublimation. I didn't do anything else. My first machine was that I had actually purchased and started pressing was mugs, and I thought I'll never learn Sublimation because it's just not working. And here it really was, and I probably could have salvaged them if I had just washed them off, and I didn't know that. Do I pre-press before applying a final press? I do not. I just go straight to it. I cleaned my mug with some rubbing alcohol, dried it off really well, and then I just stuck it in the mug. So as this cools, it will turn black again and it will cover. I recommend getting yourself some cookie sheets, what are these? Cookie racks, hot cookie racks. And then just putting them, taking your mugs, letting them air cool. A lot of people put fans on them. Some people even dip them in water. I personally, yeah, see, I don't. I don't dip in room temperature water or any water because this is already 400 degrees. You're dipping in room temperature water, which would probably be about 80, 90 degrees. That is a huge temperature change for something so hot. You might not see the crack, but I'm always worried that you're going to get the internal hairline cracks in there. So these do not take long. Get a cookie sheet, cookie cooling rack. Just get that. I set them on there. They're usually cool within 10 minutes. Completely cool. Since I lifted them up off of there, they're cool in about 10 minutes. And I personally am worried about the water dipping. And a lot of people say, well, it stops the sublimation process. I don't know anything about that. I've never had it continually cooking. To me, it's finished once it's out of the press. So it might not be. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I just don't dip in water. And I don't do a fan in front of it. Maybe you could if it was far enough away. But again, I don't want to risk any hairline cracks inside the mug itself because you might not be able to see it, but it could be internal. Yes. What photo program are you using? I use Photoshop. What was the cotton ball you used to wipe off the mug with alcohol? Yes, was it? Yes, that was just a cotton ball. I put a little bit of rubbing alcohol in. I clean my mugs before I start, just so that you're not getting any maybe specks. Sometimes you'll see the blue specks, but look how vibrant. And like you see, I just did the photos. Really, I just stuck them all around different sizes. and covered the whole mug in that. So this is actually going to be part of a Christmas gift for my sister. You bought the Condi mugs and felt like they were very poor quality, very light. Where can I buy ones that are better? Like I said, I think JDS has them. I didn't think that the mugs were bad quality. This is from Condi, and I think it's a really good quality mug. I don't have any issues with it. They might feel a little bit very light. If you're used to the 15 ounce, these are very light compared to a 15 ounce mug. So that might be it. I don't know unless you're comparing it to another 11 ounce mugs. These sublimate beautifully. Okay. Also, I was thinking, wouldn't these be great for like a baby, a gender reveal for babies? Like have everybody get a mug, and then, you know, you could go ahead and reveal that with this. So anything like that, will you be my bridesmaid? This would be awesome. You can market it as that. You can go ahead and market it, have a bride send this out as in the mail or as a gift, and when their person receiving it, it could say, will you be my bridesmaid? Gender reveals. Great gifts with photos. Photos, people love photo coffee mugs. This is probably always my biggest seller, photo coffee mugs. Or any design, really. You could take any design and, you know, you could go ahead and put it on here. People love really anything on coffee mugs because it's one of the tools and one of the most probably used items that we're going to make in sublimation that's going to be used on a daily basis. So mugs are a great seller. A proposal, absolutely. This would be a great proposal. Will you marry me? I wish these came in 15 ounce too. So see, this is already cooling off. It's already cool enough to my touch. So these don't take long. So my suggestion is, now you can do, if you've been doing it, it works for you, but my suggestion is don't water dip and leave the fan. You don't need to. This is going to cool off really quickly. Just set it on a cookie cooling sheet. You're going to look for the 15 ounce ones. Okay, Tiffany, if you find them, please let us all know, because I have searched for them, and other than I found a few that might have been overseas. I don't like overseas only because, first off, sometimes I've not done the research to know enough people that recommend a company, and I get a little bit worried about quality. So, and if something comes broken, especially mugs, the cost to send back, it's astronomical. So I'm not one that does a lot of overseas for my supplies. But if you find them, please let us know. I mean, I think that's something that we need to request with some of the companies that we do use. What is a decent price to sell them for? I sell the 11 ounce mugs for $15. And if you do happen to want to print, which I'm going to do this year at a craft show. I don't do a lot of craft shows, but see, this is already cool. This is probably, coffee's probably hotter than this by now. If you plan on doing craft shows, mugs are a great on-the-spot personalization printing. So other than having to have your computer there, I usually have a few templates, and then what I do is I'll take those templates, print them out, put them in a book for people to look through. You already have them in your program, pop some pictures in it, and press. Print and press. So easy, people love them. And then if you do happen to get some custom orders at a craft show, just take their name, what they're wanting, or just their name, and say, hey, I'll message you, I'll contact you via email, and then we'll go ahead and discuss further options of what you might want. Do I sell the blanks if people want them? I don't. They're expensive for me personally to ship one or two to you, so I don't. But, you know, I could put them in my shop. I try not to really upcharge you guys much with any of my supplies, just because, you know, I'm not in, I don't want to keep a lot of supplies on hand. I'm not in it to make money from you guys from that. I concentrate on the designs, but I like to offer a few items here and there so that if you want to try them before you go and buy the bulk, especially the bulk items, I usually go ahead and put in there. And these come at 12 in a batch. So usually I could throw a couple of these in my shop, but like I said, I'm not in it to make the money. Usually I only upcharge enough to cover my Etsy fees and then the cost of, you know, the shop and that, and the shipping, because everything is free shipping. So I try not to upcharge too much and make it fair. I'm not in it to make money from you guys. I just like to have some supplies if you do want to try them, so I can go ahead and throw a couple of these in. That way, if you want to. I know the bad part is the shipping's going to be quite much for this, so I have to build the shipping into the mug. It might not be cost effective, but I can put them in if you want. And usually I always sell everything in sets of 2. The reason I do that is I don't sell singles is because you need one for an oops. I always call them, they're my oops. You need one because you did it and you were like, oh no, I didn't have my paper correct. Oh no, I didn't do this. Oh no. And then you don't have another item to go ahead and try it on. So especially if you've had an order and you're like, oh no, I messed up one and I only ordered one. So I always sell items in 2. Even when I purchase myself, I never purchase just one item. I always purchase 2. Okay. You can have them throw in a couple. Sorry, I'm trying to read my questions, my comments. I know they will let you know. Okay. So, okay, Tiffany, there is a suggestion. You get shipments weekly. I can have them throw in a couple. Okay. So that's it. Mugs are easy. Don't forget, I have 40% off of all of my designs currently in my Etsy shop. I do have a link and a post on that. It'll be today and it ends tomorrow at 11:59. So if you're interested in anything for mugs, doormats, anything like that, grab them while they are 40% off. And also for every purchase you make today, tomorrow, and every day, you get 1 entry per day for any amount that you purchase. And I am giving away the mug press for the drawing on October 1st. Okay, everybody. So happy Wednesday. Okay, I'm so off on my days. Happy Wednesday. And if you ever have any questions, you can always message me privately. And if you do, and I don't answer you within 3 or 4 hours, please post in this group that you've sent me a message, because it goes to my other folder, and from my phone, half the time I don't even see it, or it won't let me view it. I don't know why. I need a new phone. I need an update. So, okay, everybody, have a good day.